In the most public speaking training and literature, body language and voice are elevated to some sort of magic tool, where you can use certain gestures or vocal tools and suddenly your presentation will be awesome. This seems to be supported also by research by Albert Meherbians in 1960s. He concluded that 55% of the communication happens via body language, 38% happens via our voice, and 7% consists of our actual words. But is that really so? When I started working on my presentational skills about 7 years ago, I naturally read every possible book and took every training I could about my body language and voice and practiced all those different techniques, positions and gestures. It made sense, right? Because I focus on 93% of nonverbal communication that is important in our communication and public speaking, right? However, I got actually quite worse. I was overconscious and I overanalyzed every single movement and sound that I made. And even though I practiced a lot, it felt sort of robotic and even forced at the time. Do you remember in previous video when I talked about if you script your speech word by word, then it sort of seems unnatural and it's difficult to deliver it? The same thing with a gesture. If you plan that now I'm gonna do this gesture, then this gesture, I'm gonna use my voice in this way, then it becomes just like a script that you follow together with your actual script. And you are just robots delivering that to the audience. And I observed the same thing with other learners as well. Their presentations seemed technically perfect, yet somehow they were unnatural or even boring and unengaging. But what if you cannot express or use nonverbal communication at all? One of my favorite persons and speakers as well, Stephen Hawking, was a great example to that. As you probably know, he was only able to express himself using a computer-generated voice. He only used words that were, and he didn't even have control about how he's saying them because the computer did it for him. Yet, his lecture halls were full of captivated students listening to every single word he was saying. So do words really only account for 7% of our communication? I don't think so, and neither did Albert Meherbian. In fact, how is it often with the case of scientific literature, his research was hugely misinterpreted in the mainstream society. As he later pointed out, quote, "Unless a communicator is talking about their feelings or attitudes, such as like or dislike, these equations are not applicable." So nonverbal communication is really essential when you're talking about your feelings or attitudes, when you're trying to demonstrate how you feel or what the audience should understand. And you generally want your presentations to have that aspect. You want to show your opinion, your enthusiasm, and connect on audience with a personal level. If you're talking about astrophysics, for example, they are probably not that important to focus just on nonverbal communication. If I say E equals mc squared, it will mean the same thing no matter what my voice or body will do. But when, for example, I'm talking about my passion project or story, and I want to tell that I was excited, there's a difference if I say I was excited, or I was excited, or like I was excited. You see, just nonverbal communication really adds an extra meaning, or maybe we can actually understand what a person or speaker means behind it. To sum up, those equations are hugely oversimplified, and reality is much more complex. And it pretty much depends on the situation. But the best way how to look at your body language and voice and all those different tips that you're going to see in coming videos or you might find online is to set or see them as a tools. So simple elements that you can use in order to enhance your presentations. Similarly to PowerPoint slides, you can go completely without them, but when you use them, try to use them properly. Try to use them to help you deliver the message and the presentation you want. Good luck using your nonverbal communication.